Okay, hello and welcome everybody to follow Visit Lapland's live talk on responsible tourism with the focus on new ideas and innovations. We have today here several interesting guests who are soon going to introduce themselves. I will be moderating the conversation today. My name is Saana Jaakkola, and I'm a travel journalist and, of course, traveler with a focus on responsible tourism. And I'm also the founder of Finland's first and only responsible travel and leisure media, Valpas, that is launching within few weeks. But before we start, let's get to know to our guests, and everybody can now introduce themselves with but who are you, where are you from, what do you do, and what does sustainability mean to you? Go ahead. Veronica can maybe start.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Veronica Butinova. I am representing BearHills Husky, and I'm part owner of the company. My husband is second partner. So we are running dog sledding business in Rovaniemi, and responsibility in tourism and especially working with the dogs is very important. So we have thought a lot about and trying to improve all the time. So, and I can maybe give some ideas what we or examples how we take responsibility in tourism in a dog sledding business in Finland.
Then maybe Terhi, can you introduce yourself?
Yes. Okay, hello. My name is Terhi Hultamo, and I'm the co-founder and owner of AT Nature here in Inari. I have worked in tourism for over 20 years, also in very fragile destinations, for example, in the Antarctic and Galapagos Islands. And after many years of thinking, we thought with my husband that we could have a small business here in Inari for everyone who wants to know a little bit more about the Arctic nature and about the environment where we are living. And of course, because of my background, I have also studied tourism research with José-Carlos. He was my teacher. Sustainability is a big issue for us, and it guides, I suppose, all our daily practices here in the company.
Thank you. As you mentioned, José-Carlos, maybe you can go next.
Okay, hi. So my name is José-Carlos García-Rosell, and I work as a senior lecturer at the University of Lapland in the tourism degree. And the work I do is related to responsible tourism business, and so I'm involved in different kind of development research projects, also teaching around the topic of responsibility in tourism. And currently also I'm the director of tourism master in tourism program called Tourism Culture and International Management, and also it's based on the idea of responsibility. That is very important in our teaching and the research we do at the University of Lapland here in Rovaniemi. And also 2 years ago, also I was involved in the creation of the Lapland Responsible Tourism Network. That is kind of a collaboration between different tourism companies here in Lapland and also the University of Lapland. So this is kind of more or less the work I'm doing. I'm happy to participate here in this chat.
Thank you. And then we have Mari online. Are you there?
Yes, hello everyone. I'm driving, so this is a bit awkward. But my name is Mari, and I work for Salla Reindeer Park. And I've been here in Salla for, I think, 8 years now. I used to work in a completely different area, and this tourism business here in Salla is coming to me every day. I learn something new. But I'm responsible for our ecological issues in the reindeer park, and we have gained a Green Key certificate, and also the Visit Finland is on the way, and we are trying to do all possible to keep everything as green as possible. So we have reindeers and huskies and manpower to do the work, so we don't have any machines used for our excursions during winter or summer. So that's mainly manpower by used with hay and meat that we are doing. And the company has been doing all those ecological things, I think, when they started already 20 years ago, and they have tried to keep everything as easy as possible, should I say, and they are not trying to get more business by doing some extravaganza, just keeping in the normal, really easy, laid back country style way. So we are close to the nature all the way.
Yeah, thank you. Then let's check. We should have one more guest, Charlotte, but she is not online yet. But if she arrives, then we can let her introduce herself. So we are here to talk about responsible and sustainable tourism today, especially in Lapland, and what companies in Lapland are doing at the moment, how they are developing their businesses in a sustainable and responsible manner. So I thought, just to make sure that all followers, all the viewers there are aware of what responsible tourism is. So that means that it's such tourism that aims to have a long-term positive impact, not only on the environment, but also to communities, local people, local companies, culture, and local economy as well. It's a nice way of saying it. It's in company perspective, maybe to be the best for the world rather than best in the world. So now when we are now at the moment, Europe is slowly starting to reopen tourism. How about you who are entrepreneurs in Lapland? Have tourists already returned, and has something changed? Are they behaving somehow differently now after Corona, or how does the situation look in Lapland at the moment?
Well, if I can just comment on that, first of all, in Lapland, we didn't have in general so much summer tourism. It was getting actually more better and more developed. And we were expecting a better summer than last year. But unfortunately, at this point in time, I would not say that it's getting for the at least activity part, because we do have summer products, visit to the kennel. We don't have any questions at this point in time. A little bit further in line, yes, but very, very quiet, I would say. So it's maybe on accommodation part is a bit more already going forward, but on as it was in a stage of developing the summer tourism in Lapland, or like, yeah, how I would say, it used to be very popular here in Lapland for summer, but then it became more winter than summer, and then we were trying to get back on the track that to attract people to come in summertime, because it is really, really nice here. And you're never alone. There's always friends in the forest. So you always have some company. So, but unfortunately, Corona has spooked the customers. So, well, let's see. So we hope for at least in our company, we hope that late summer, expect some tourists here. But now we try to maintain and keep everything nice and organized and get back on track, and then be ready when the customers are here.
Great. How about Terhi? Have you restarted
Yes,
your tourism services?
Yes, we have restarted, but I think it's the same here than in Salla, that we have now most of the tourists are from Finland, and they are very independent. And I think what they need more here from Lapland is the accommodation, and not so many activities at the moment. And we are also hoping that the late summer will bring more tourists also from abroad to our company as guests.
How about Mari? Salla Reindeer Park is also open already. Am I right? Do we have Mari online? Maybe not. Okay.
Probably no reception when she was driving. It's very common in Lapland that there's not everywhere reception. So, yeah. Well, adding to the thing that we actually during this Corona time, we started to think like, okay, what can we use more? Because we have a very, very nice, beautiful place here where we keep our dogs. So we were thinking like, okay, how can we use this to our advantage, and starting to, well, we will try accommodation as well, even we have not been planning to do that. But because the activity part is a little bit quiet, so now we are testing our traditional sauna cabin, and we'll be putting that online for booking probably already next week. So we actually got it ready this week. So, and yeah, so we'll try that, see how it works.
Okay. How about José-Carlos? What do you think now when we start to live the life after Corona and restarting tourism? What are regarding responsible tourism? What are the major things to tackle in Lapland?
Yeah, well, I thinking about now that now again Europe and is reopening, and again we have flights going from some places to another places. Step by step is increasing, but still, so like the number of international travelers maybe is not enough for the tourism companies. But at the same time, we can see that there have been news that a lot of Finns they are planning to spend their holidays in Finland. They are traveling in Finland, and we can I think see that already in southern Finland and in Lapland too, as we already heard. But then we see that maybe the services we have here are not just for the Finns or for the local market, and that may be something that we need to think about what could be developed. For example, for the Finnish customers, if they are coming to Lapland, what kind of services could be offered. And we can see so in the case of, so like Veronica has been already thinking about kind of this accommodation, adding something to the business concept that they have. So these are maybe the things that now we need to think about them. As Veronica also said, so like summer is not the season, the strong season for Lapland, but it's something the tourism organizations and so the, for example, new tourism Lapland strategy also, it is emphasized that the need for developing summer tourism, and that is something that we need maybe new products, new services, and to be able to offer them to the national customers.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, now, as we don't have Mari online at the moment, Veronica and Terhi, your companies are doing a lot in regarding a responsible tourism. Could you share some of the things you are already doing and some of the things that you are developing in terms of responsible tourism? Maybe Terhi could go first.
Okay, thank you. Yes, so when we think about ecological responsibility, well, we buy solar energy, and one day what we want to have is our own solar power station here at the property. But at the moment, because we are completely new business, so we just have to wait time to make this kind of invest. And meanwhile, we are going to buy, and we are buying solar energy. The one thing is that we also have Veronica a sauna cabin here. We are renting it, and we have many bins there for different kind of rubbish. So we do recycle. And even though we don't have big station for plastic rubbish here in Inari, we do recycle it still, and we'll bring it with our own home plastic to one place in Ivalo, which is the nearest place where you can recycle plastic. And if we think about the economical responsibility, our partners are from here, from this little tiny village. We buy, for instance, berries from them and foodstuff. We cooperate with 2 other micro businesses. So we organize combo activities to their places. And we also, when we built the sauna cabin here and accessible kota and toilet for our guests, we used the local log builder to do that. So we really want to support local people also with our business. And it was already at the beginning, we decided that for every customer we get, we will donate some money to local bird association, BirdLife Lapland, so that they could have money for the conservation, and we could support them to offer different kind of courses in birding and bird watching in Lapland area. And of course, if we think about the social responsibility, everyone is welcome here at our place. We just began a cooperation with We Speak Gay community. And one time, if we need to have more workers here with our company, we definitely will hire local people. And I hope that, because I used to be a teacher also, that I could then offer jobs for my ex-students if
nice.
they want to.
Okay.
Well, that's some of the stuff what we are doing. But of course, we have snowmobile what we are using, and it's now 4-stroke. We have only one for the sleigh ride, and our dream is to have it electric. But at the moment, there isn't enough. I mean, there isn't any snowmobile that could pull a sleigh to, for instance, to the lake. And our sleigh is accessible as well, so we can't pull it ourselves. It's too heavy. But we want to offer all people experiences with us.
Yeah, thank you. Now, one of our missing guests has arrived. Welcome, Charlotte.
Sorry.
No problem. Glad to have you here. Could you tell us briefly with who you are, where you're from, what do you do, and what does sustainability or responsibility mean to you?
Yeah, so I'm Charlotte. I'm based in Belgium. We're a platform focusing on sustainable tourism and ethical adventures. Together with my team, we promote destinations that are going to the next mile when it comes to sustainable tourism. We promote ethical, responsible brands, and we deep dive into all things that can be done in a more sustainable way. For us, sustainable tourism is not only about ecotourism, it's a 360 approach where we try to make a positive impact by traveling in a more social, responsible way, but also making sure that money stays in the destination. Many people don't know about the fact that from the $100 spent by a tourist, only $5 only $5 actually stays in the destination, and we want to change that with our community.
Wow, that is quite shocking information. I didn't actually know that. I knew that is an issue, but I didn't know that it's such a big amount that flows outside of the destinations. You talk also a lot about over-tourism, which was one of the main biggest issues in tourism before the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the moment it's not a very current problem, but what do you think now when Europe is slowly reopening after the pandemic? What are the major issues now when tourism reopens? What are the things companies should focus on and travelers, what we should focus on?
When it comes to not falling into the same trap with over-tourism, I think it's something that needs to be politically decided on a high level. Like if everyone goes back to the Trevi Fountain in Rome or all going back to Paris, I think we're just going to fall back into old routines and habits when it comes to traveling. Now is the time to take that opportunity to make sure that travelers are going to less known places. And for the first reason, it's safer if you can make sure that tourists are equally divided over several tourism spots or less known spots, not yet very famous. It's safer and it's more sustainable, and make sure that other regions are also benefiting from growing tourism. So I think it's something that is a political issue and can be steered in a good direction right now if governments are willing to take a next step. For a company, I think it's also important to just talk about it, make people realize that the highlights of a destination are not the only thing out there. That if you go a couple of miles further, that you can discover beautiful spots are the perfect alternatives to the hotspots. I think it's now is the time to talk about the issues that we had before, to make people realize, like, first of all, it's not safe to go all to one place, and now is the time to discover less known spots in your region.
Thank you. Let's continue a bit. We were talking about, because we have here a few entrepreneurs or company representatives from Lapland, and Terhi was already sharing some things regarding responsibility and sustainability that they are already doing in their operations. How about Veronica? How does sustainability show in your daily work, and are there some new innovations or new projects that you are planning?
Well, we started 17 years ago, and that's we at that point in time, of course, the sustainability, responsible tourism was not a very on the air subject, but it's been always in our business. Let's say the goal of the business, so to do it the best way we can for the nature, for the people, for the animals. And we never actually before it was not so structured, or we didn't like put it on paper like, oh, that these steps are what we do, but it was just a way how we lived and how we did it. And now that it is extremely important to be aware and also to bring it out and tell it to our customers and to our partners what we do, how we do, then of course it's more structured, and we have moved to this location where we are now in Rovaniemi. 4 years ago, in 2016, we started to build completely from scratch. So we have a big piece of land. The reason why we have it, it's one of the reasons that we have trails for our tours. Dogs need some trails. We need kilometers and kilometers of trails. So, and it's one of the things you have to think about sustainable of your company, of your business. If you don't have trails, you cannot offer any tours. So it's maybe not many people think about it, but it is extremely important. If you cannot provide any tours, you cannot earn any money, you cannot give any jobs, you cannot build anything, and so on. Of course, it is it could be a very small thing, but it does actually bring a huge sustainability for the company. And then when you have a financial sustainability, you can be more sustainable in all other way. And of course, when we started to build this, we were in a luxury position that we had a big, long time of experience behind us, and we knew what we wanted to do. And one of the things that all our buildings, we have quite a few buildings here to have a place which works proper. So they all built from the logs, so that we use local materials and local people to build it, and local companies to help building and so on. So actually, a lot of the company, this place is situated about 30 kilometers away from the Rovaniemi city. So a lot of the workers and building companies and trucks and things, they come from the local village, not even from Rovaniemi. So and it's one small thing to think. Of course, we use wind power energy. We are thinking we have lots of roofs where we can put solar panels, and that's another step to look further. But again, it's rather expensive investment before we can realize it. Going about social sustainability, it's of course there is no difference who our customers are. There, everyone is equal to come and enjoy the tours here, as well as everyone is welcome to work in here. Of course, we have some requirements and so on, but we do not make a difference. Is it women or men, or are they coming? Of course, we prefer local workers, but it's not always possible. So we also have a lot of people coming from other parts of Finland or other parts of the world. And one of the big responsible thing when you work with animals is, of course, to give them a proper life and use them the way they're bred to do. So the dogs we have here is Alaskan Huskies, and they are specially bred to run and pull sleds. So we have to guarantee them the environment and possibility to do what they are bred to do. The way the most let's say animal-friendly way instead in that way. So what we have done, we have developed quite a good infrastructure here at our place to have also summer tours and also keep the dogs active throughout the summertime. Of course, when we have plus 30, then it's we don't do anything with the dogs because it's way too hot. Only maybe during the very, very late or very, very early in the morning, we can do something like active with the dogs. But when like weather today, plus 10, 12 in the morning, then we can have some activities with the dogs and for the dogs, so that they keep running and they keep social life with their own companions and so long. So the dogs do not have holiday 6 months a year. They need to move and they need to do social life with their friends. So it's not only that we work 4 or 6 months a year during the winter time. It's all year round, every single day, and we cannot just put them on summer holidays. Dogs always need attention and care. So it's to work with the dogs actively, and I mean actively, like every day. That's one of the things that we are pushing. These dogs deserve to be treated really well. They work really hard, but they love their job as well. So to keep them happy and loving what they do, we actually have to work through summer very intensively with them as well. So that's what we are trying to do and bring it out in the air and bring it to the tourists to let them know that these dogs are really, really nice and they really like attention also in summertime and love running and activities. Well, economic sustainability come out of that. So you do your things properly and hopefully the money comes after that. So it's of course extremely important part of the business, especially we have 90 dogs. They do eat quite a lot during the summertime as well. But it is not fair to the dogs just to lock them up and not give them any attention and exercise during the summer. So, and of course, again, all this is extra working time and it's extra investments, but we believe that it is worth and the dogs deserve to have the best. And of course, we are thinking about, okay, how can we run our tours without snowmobiles or using electric snowmobiles? But economically, it's at the moment is just not possible as well. So there's a questions with sustainability that we would love to do some things, but some things are so expensive that unfortunately we cannot do everything at the same time. But we are taking little steps to go forward and do the best decision we can at the point we are doing. And the next step is to get the certificate of the Sustainable Tourism Finland, what Visit Finland started. So I'm applied for that program, but have not been able to, didn't have time yet to do all the procedures yet. And yeah, so to keep the company going, that's this accommodation thing is the next step what we are trying. So yeah, and hopefully Finnish tourists also will appreciate the activity part of the tourism, because it's not only for foreign people. There's a lot of things which Finnish people would love to know as well and enjoy it and learn and new things and try new things. And it just came to my mind the thing about over tourism. It is a thing, but in the end, the mass tourism comes from, if you have mass, you can put your prices down, and that's how you earn your money. And then again, if you try to keep it less people, then you should put your prices up, because you still need that money to keep the going. It's there is a lot of cost. I'm sure about every company has a lot of cost. So
Yes.
to cover all this cost, you need to earn that money somehow. So we are slowly trying to get, and we're really happy that finally a lot of private and luxury tours companies are contacting us for the private tours and VIP tours, because we were trying to keep our quality as high as possible, do the right things, so that we will attract this demand by itself, and have finally we are getting requests from that, and now we can be reducing the capacity. We can choose to have private tours with the smaller groups, which pay a little bit more than a normal tourist. But then it's not fair to the normal tourist, everyday tourist, who I'm always thinking that coming to Lapland is extremely expensive. And then all these tours, if you want to have let's say earnings to cover your costs, and you want to have a smaller groups, naturally you put the prices up, and then not everyone can afford it. So there is a question: is it responsible to just normal family who is traveling to ask so much money? It's also not fair to them. So it's a lot of questions about if I put my prices or our prices 250 euros per person, how many customers can I get? And if normal company family from Europe, can they come? No, who is able to pay 1,000 euros for a few hours if you have 2 adults, 2 kids, and that is one activity. And if you want to go to do reindeers and you want to see the Santa and all this kind of things, and accommodation and food, that you need, like, for 1 week holiday, you need lots of money. So it's always a little bit sensitive question about mass tourism and let's say not mass tourism. I don't think we yet in a point. Maybe in December, Rovaniemi is a little bit like that. But now I'm talking something else. Sorry. So I just got an idea from the. It's because I always, we also have 2 kids, and when we go travel somewhere, like it is expensive. So, and you kind of want to be fair to everyone and offer the services and the activities and experiences, and to everyone. So how can we go about it?
You're right. It's not easy to be responsible. We have a lot of difficult questions, but it's also, I think it's a good thing that you are able to, like in companies in general, like Terhi was saying, and you were saying in many points that there are things to improve, there are issues to be solved, there are difficult questions to find answers to, but it's also, I feel, part of responsibility to be able to admit it openly and talk about it openly, that okay, I think we have this thing that we still need to improve, but we are working on it. That you are able to admit no one is perfect, no company is perfect. So, but it's a very good thing to know that we are going forward. You mentioned Sustainable Travel Finland, which is a new label by Visit Finland. It's not a certificate itself, but it's sort of shows that the company who has that label is certified and also committed to sustainability. And Salla Reindeer Park was one of the first companies in Finland who achieved this label. Congratulations. Could you, Mari?
Thank you very much.
Can you tell us a little bit about your journey on Sustainable Travel Finland path? What did you gain? Can you share something that you learned from the
process itself? Yeah. Well, we actually started over 1 year ago already by applying the Green Key certificate, which is one of the certificates that is approved by Visit Finland as well. And we made a really big, how should I say, digging around our company, how to find all those small and big things that are actually needed to gain that certificate. But when I was digging out the information, I noticed that it's already done. You just need to, write it down. But everything was done already, and the company has been doing these sustainable things already when they started. So over 20 years, and everything is. They are still trying to keep it as it is. And of course, when we gained the certificate for Green Key, then the next step was to be a pilot company for that Visit Finland certificate as well. And Salla is actually, the whole Salla area is one pilot for that certificate for Visit Finland. And we are just a small company within this whole area certificate, what hopefully will be gained by Salla Ski Center as well, and the municipality of Salla. Yeah. But we just the Visit Finland. It took me something like 2 days to go through the application itself. It was really a lot of information. And when you start doing and you start reading about sustainability, you will get lost in the internet. So it takes a lot of time to get back to that point where you started. I was lost like every day, 2 hours. I was on the road, and then I was somewhere where I shouldn't be, and getting new ideas and trying to figure out how we could do something more green, and it's just endless. But it's a really cool process to do, and it also gives you a really good map for all those sustainable things that you need to do and what you already have in place.
Yeah. Yes, like you said, feels like an endless process, but that's sort of what being a responsible travel business is. It's about continuous developing that you can always do things better and learn new things and develop. And as everybody have already said, that because it's already about the prices, so like you can have your own solar power, but you can't do everything at once because everything costs. But
it's not. You don't need to do those costly things to get more and be more sustainable. But here in Salla, we have a problem example because we are really small and tiny place, so we have a lot of issues with recycling and things. That kind of thing still, like recycling the plastics from the companies. That's a really big issue for us. We are recycling as much as possible, also the plastics, but there is no place in Salla where to take it. That's the problem.
Well,
so we are trying to find a solution for that with together with those bigger companies and all the companies here in Salla area. but it's not easy because we are such a small place.
Yeah, I can understand that it's not possible for companies in Rovaniemi to recycle plastic. It's possible if you bring it yourself. No, it's possible. Yeah, I asked, can you collect plastic from our place? No, we can't. Or any other, no, cardboard they can collect. But plastic we bring ourselves personally to the recycling facility in Rovaniemi, where you just drive a big with the car and then you can recycle all the things.
Well,
so
we are also taking some of the plastics to the recycling place in Salla village, but the problem is that it is not for companies. We shouldn't do that.
But
it's not.
Really... not to this kind of like next to the road or next to the shop, but to the recycle plant. You know, we have in Rovaniemi where you can. So it's for the companies you're not allowed to use those bins which are next to the shops and things. So
now we have a problem. Yeah, we have a lot of plastics in the company warehouse at the moment because we are trying to figure out how we can recycle that.
The recycling of plastic, I think it's the whole Lapland who is facing this issue. It's the same thing here in Inari. And we are now having this project Treasures of Inari Lake, which is to develop sustainable travel here in Inari. Many companies are there. And one of the biggest issues what we have is the recycling of plastic. So we are also trying to find the solution for it so that everyone could recycle it who wants to do that.
Yeah, that's we are actually, because we also have some restaurant business and of course we are providing the food for the customers. So we cannot avoid the plastics. No. It is coming. But we are trying to actually figure out if we could pressure a bit our the market that we are buying the food from, if they could take the plastics away, and because they are taking our cardboard as well, so why can't they bring the plastics away as well? But let's see what they will say. It should be in October. We should know more about that.
Okay. Is there any whether the other, now you've all mentioned this recycling difficulties in Lapland, how do you feel as entrepreneurs? What other issues to tackle there are in Lapland regarding responsible tourism?
There's lots of issues.
We are here to find ideas and innovations to tackle them.
Yeah.
I can say that our customers, they are actually asking for the recycling. They are asking for it, and they are really saying that you have to have it. So we are doing it as much as possible, and we are giving them instructions how to do it here, because we have a lot of Dutch customers who are really, really used to recycling everything. And they really require it. So we just have to go with the flow and provide that service for them.
This is the thing.
But of course, we are also trying to teach other customers, coming from other Southern European countries, example, that they are not that keen to recycle or save food, or they just waste the food, but we are trying our best to give them some information and teach them to respect it more.
Yeah. That's very good to give guidance to the travelers who are not that aware, but the fact is that more and more travelers are also becoming more aware about these issues, like that you said your customers are requiring this possibility to recycle. And in the worst case, it can be that they choose another option if they cannot, if some company or destination doesn't meet their requirements regarding responsibility, then they choose to go somewhere else. So it's
that's all about example. The reason that we chose to apply for the Green Key certificate is to get some more information out and also to be more visible with the recycling work that we are doing and what we have done. And example, Green Key is really well known in Europe area. Example, all the way to Greece. If you go for a holiday for Greece, you can see the Green Key marks in the hotels and on the beaches and so. So it is really well known over there, and that's good for us and also for our customers, because then they can rely on the information that we are doing all we can. And I'm not saying that we are trying to teach the customers, like putting them in the role and giving them instructions what to do, but just showing them example how to do it and why to do it.
Yeah. How about Veronica and Mari? You are both working with animals, and like Veronica mentioned, at one point, animal activities and animal welfare is a topic that is highlighted in the headlines every once in a while. How interested your customers are in this, how ethical the animal activities are? How much are they asking questions? And how do you introduce to your customers the way you work with the animals?
Well, as already,
Yes,
I can
you go
I
for
can
it.
answer this. Yeah. So it's as I said, that there's especially with the dogs, they are active animals. So it is one of the things that you keep them active also throughout the summer. So it's one of the things that is extremely important. Another thing is that you use the dogs to their physical abilities. Basically, you breed the dogs to the job, and you select for what you are doing. And then, of course, you respect the physical abilities of the dog. So you need to keep the track how much they run, and no matter how much they run, if they are tired, they have to go. Or if they're not feeling well, they have to have breaks and they have to have days off and things like that. They are not machines. And customers are extremely aware, and they're going to be more and more aware. And a lot of people choosing our services pure for what we are doing, how we are doing. And it's we're getting a lot of emails saying that I would like to book your tour because I know that you're doing it well. You're taking you're taking care of your animals well, and so they are trusting to go with a company who they know that the animals are taking well care. And it's going to be more and more important. So the stories that Huskies have holiday for summer, that's not true, and it shouldn't be told like that. So the Huskies are running animals and they are having activities all year round. And we also educate our customers. We do not. It's what we tell about the dogs. It is a science, is our experience, and it's not a stories. It's not fairy tales. It's a pure fact. What is very important that not many people know about Alaskan Huskies and what they are. And we are really proud to bring it out and tell about these amazing dogs and teach people about something new. And we get a lot of thanks for that, because a lot of people are a little bit concerned when they're booking a husky tour, especially because people think that it might hurt the animal, or they are not sure how what kind of conditions the dogs are living in. And when they come here, they are very happy. They say, we are really happy we chose your tour. We see that the dogs get a proper treatment. We see that they are feeling happy, that they're healthy, they're taking good care of. And animal welfare is extremely important. And people are getting more and more concerned because people are getting more and more urban, so that they're not having this connection to the nature so much, and something using animals but to pull them through the forest sometimes feels like this is not fair. But these dogs are bred to run. It is not fair to keep them not running. So it's not fair to put a Labrador to pull a sled, because the Labrador is not a sled dog. It's not bred to do it. It's not trained to do it. So there's a lot of knowledge behind the sled dogs, and we are very proud to bring it out and educate our guests here, and we get a lot of thanks for that, and that people are really they're happy to visit here, and they see that how well the dogs are living here. And some of them say, well, I don't mind if I would live, if I would be a dog, I would not mind living in this kind of place. And of course it's something we are very sensitive, and also would like to give the best what we can. And of course it all comes, the less tourists we have, the more difficult is to give the proper care and all this kind of things. But we still do not want to cut on anything like this. So you always have to try where to continue and all this kind of thing. So it is basically we our aim is that at any point in time, if someone comes to visit our yard, we will not be ashamed to show it. There's nothing to hide. There's people can go and see all the dogs, and all their things should be in order at any point in time. So it's very important.
Yeah, good. Did you, Mari, have something to add? We can then next take a couple of questions from the audience. Okay, maybe we can take.
It seems that there is no connection from Mari.
Connection issues. Another problem in Lapland. No. So Kati is asking, are some of you local entrepreneurs doing virtual tours yet?
We are planning.
We're also planning, and we have been doing live videos. So it's not exactly the tour. Well, yeah, kind of a tour, but we didn't ask any money for that. It's just a live tour of the kennel, or it was early or late spring. We still were doing on snow dog sledding. So, and then we just had a broadcasted live from this tour, but it was not like tours what you can book. Basically, you can join, or you can return and watch it back later as well. So.
Yeah, we had the same thing. We when Corona issues started, so we started to broadcast live bird lives on Facebook, and that wasn't people didn't have to pay for it; it was for free. But we are now planning to do virtual tours also, and there I think quite many. Well, I have what I have talked, and so small entrepreneurs are trying to do the virtual or develop the virtual tours, and I think like for the next winter season, I'm not sure we are going to get as many tourists as we did during or before COVID-19 issue started. So we'll try to have our first tour for the next winter, so everyone can join us then, even though they are wherever they are.
That's good. How about Mari? Oh, you go ahead, José-Carlos.
Yeah, so I was thinking about Salla because there were so many kind of interesting comments here in the chat that actually about this that I will come to these spiritual tours but before I will go to these today. I think it was Adriana was saying something about that Finland is, or Lapland also considered as a safe destination, and we see with that maybe people also will see as a possibility if they are looking for a safe place, they will choose Lapland as a tourism destination. But then we also need, as was addressed in the chat, that we need to rethink the way we travel, as Charlotte also said. That is not only about kind of we shouldn't go back to the old times, but maybe do things in a different way. And as also Kati was saying here in the chat, that if we are going to Lapland, for example, not going only for 1 day or 2 or 3 days, maybe we can stay there for 1 week or more or longer. So kind of having this kind of a slow travel experience, and that is something that I hope that it will change after this COVID crisis. And then about the responsibility issues, so recycling is something that has been a lot of talks about that in relation to sustainability issues. So environmental perspective has been very important, but as we saw here also in the discussion, so like it's also a lot about inclusion, about who has the right to travel or to buy a product, a tourism product, or inside the same destination, who is actually benefiting from tourism, who is not, and also about human-animal relations. So this is something we had at the university. We have a project 2 years ago, a 2-year project about animal welfare in tourism. Actually, we had 2 projects on that, and we were looking at the relationship, the role of animals in the tourism industry in Lapland. And as we can see from the companies involved here in the talk, so animals are very important part of tourism in Lapland, a very important part of the creation of tourism experiences. And based on a study we did here in Rovaniemi with international travelers, 68% of the travelers say that they are actually very concerned or they are interested to know, and they are concerned about the treatment of animals in the tourism industry. And this is something that Veronica was emphasizing, that actually people ask about this issue. They want to know more about how the animals are doing. So in that sense, responsibility is kind of a very broad and complex concept in that terms. And then now going to this kind of virtual tourism, and this is something that actually now when we take a look at the Corona crisis and the situation we have, and now so we start rethinking a little bit or thinking about new ways of doing tourism. For example, local tourism could be also a possibility. Virtual tourism could be another one. And actually these kind of tourism services have been already with us for a long time. So because we have been talking about local tourism and virtual tourism, but we haven't realized their potential until now when we are facing the COVID crisis. And there is a lot of things going on around virtual tourism, for example. So we can see in the case of Veronica's companies and also Terhi, who is thinking about that we are trying to kind of have this streaming video streams so that people can follow what is going on in our places, or kind of offer these kind of virtual tours. We see that, for example, right now, Airbnb tours, they're offering these online experiences. And that is something that is really worth doing more research on, about how these experiences are created and what is the value that the customer can get from these experiences. Because right now, okay, people are not able to travel. They can buy one of these online experiences. But what after that, when people start traveling again? I think that there is a potential for virtual tourism that could actually help to diversify the the products and services that are offered by the companies, that we offer on-site services, but also we can offer virtual tourism services. If we think about inclusion, for example, so people who are not able to travel, or for example, if a family is coming here to Lapland with their kids, but the grandparents are not able to travel because of COVID or because of other reasons, so maybe they can participate through virtual travel. So there are many possibilities around that, but that's the thing that we need to start thinking about. We actually are in the university are thinking about this possibility to doing research on that particular area, but also we have researchers that are working on local tourism. And that is also another part that is worth taking a look at it, at how it could be developed.
Yeah, Kat is also suggesting in the comments, I just read this quickly, that virtual tours could be an added service as well for people who will then afterwards visit in person, so that they can first prepare for the holiday and get to know the destination at a deeper level, which is also a very good point.
For us, we were also doing this through Facebook, and we can do it, but the reception might be sometimes a little bit difficult, so it goes following out on the live tours. And we were, at the moment, we just don't know what is the technical part of doing the virtual tours. Like if you just make one tour, record it and put it online, and then people can, let's say, pay 10 euros and get it downloaded, that tour anytime and anywhere in the world. So that's one thing what can be done, and we were thinking about that, but we don't know the technical part. How can it be done? What does it require behind the scenes? Like what kind of technology on our website it has to have? And the second part, we was just thinking, okay, well, we can just the same. We can every day we have daily departures in winter time. We just take the camera and broadcast it live on our Facebook. So it doesn't take any. Of course, it takes a little bit more energy and this kind of things to organize it. But then again, there is a technical part where there's no reception, or it's too cold and battery is freezing and this kind of thing. So and then again, when you're dealing with a foreign real customer, so you have to be very careful not to show them online. Live and things like that. So there's a lot of things to think about, but it's possible to do. The idea, we actually got it by accident, actually not by accident. I went to check what virtual tours are available online and started to follow virtual tours from South Africa for quite a long time. Everyone can do that all over the world. They do twice a day a free tour. I think it was Wild World or something, can't remember the name, but it was really interesting. For 3 hours they were driving in a car and looking for animals and broadcasting it all over the world. So it's nothing that we cannot do. Of course, we don't have all the technology yet, but it is possible. If we want to get money, I think it is a little bit more tricky and needs a little bit more understanding and maybe technical part, which also will cost something. So nothing is free. So we are doing every now and again, and we will be doing it throughout the summer and autumn time, this live video. So from our channel, from our tours. So we offer that for free on Facebook, and it's there. So anyone who can see and learn a little bit about our company or what we are doing, they can go and see. If they decide to ever come to Rovaniemi, they can see and decide would they want to book our tour or not. But for that, we don't ask any, of course, for what is on Facebook, we don't ask any money for that.
Yeah, it's a great way of introducing your services and how it would be to be on your tour, of course. Yeah, I was watching one of them and I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Earlier in the comments, like José-Carlos mentioned, there was a comment that Lapland would have like a lot of benefits now when travelers are, after the pandemic, like appreciating their space and the safety. And Lapland is quite scarce and wide and quite like it's easy to have your personal space, your social distance in Lapland. And it can also bring like new business ideas. I remember reading in the news there was at least one glass igloo company, I believe, in Lapland that when the pandemic was on and the travel restrictions were on, that offered the glass igloos for people for remote work, which was like a great idea. So to increase local traveling, I felt like it was a very good innovation. Do you have other examples? Have you? Yeah, go ahead.
May I got one comment on that. I think that all this kind of discussion about, for example, having the igloos for distance working. For example, some 5-6 years ago, we were talking about the possibility about developing services for remote working. So people who maybe would like to come to Lapland to work here for a time. For example, people with allergies, living in southern Finland, coming to northern Lapland for the time when the allergies are in southern Lapland. But they're saying that all discussions have been taking place already, but now they are becoming more stronger. Then we see, okay, there are opportunities for developing new business or developing new services. And there is something that also happened to me when lately I have been taking part in conferences online. And now, because of the COVID situation, also I have realized how many tools we have around us that we haven't used in our work. And now we see them, wow, they were there. And now we are starting to use them. And I think that the same thing is happening in tourism, that we see that there are different things that we have been talking about. And then we see, okay, there are other things that we could develop. And this is kind of interesting, and it's thanks to this situation we are experiencing right now.
Yeah, now when companies have also noticed that people are still working even if they work remotely, it becomes a lot easier for people to combine work and leisure, and you can take a longer trip and work part of the time remotely and then enjoy your holiday the rest of the time. And regarding that, we had a question also from Kati. Are accommodation providers in Lapland offering deals for slow traveler? For instance, more affordable price per night if people stay 2 cozy weeks instead of 1 busy week. And she adds that now that both employers and employees are more used to distant work and working from home, people could stay longer in a destination, work half time and holiday half of it, and support local businesses. What do you think? Are there any?
That's a good idea.
It is.
So of course for us we basically fit our cabin yesterday, and we had our first, let's say, first visitors yesterday for like throughout the friends and things, so to get some ideas and check it out, the things. And for us it goes with the economical way. We cannot rent anything way too cheap, so because it does require a lot of work behind it. So, but thinking about we can offer a better deal if people would like to stay a bit longer, and with the mobile internet, and we even have facility for Wi-Fi, which you can offer, would be maybe attractive to someone we have a very private location that's with no neighbors and no other cabins. Well, we'll have a lot of 100 neighbors here which bark, but but it's a little bit further away, so it's not in the middle of the dog kennel. So it might be well, why not? You never know. It could be like a busy person from Berlin who would like to be in peace and quiet and the nature, looking at the beautiful lake view doing some research or I don't know, doing some very important business things. So internet works, and then you can do a lot work throughout the internet, and looking at the beautiful lake view with no other houses around might bring you better ideas for working or maybe successful business. Whoever knows, you can put it in in a nice sentence when you want to sell it. So, but no, it is could be something special for the busy city people.
Yeah, I think that's a very good idea to try, because when COVID-19 issues started, so we had the guests in our sauna cabin, and so they really tested our Wi-Fi and it worked. And for them, it was really nice that after some stressing bookings and rebookings and again rebookings, they could go into the nature and just breathe easily there and without seeing any other neighbors and so on. So I think this is a very good thing that what Kati is suggesting.
Yeah, and the COVID crisis has shown us that we can do work remotely. So it has been, people have been in their homes, they have been working from home. So all the time, we have the technology in order to do that. So like we can work from anywhere. And this is an opportunity for tourism industry and company, for example, to develop these kind of services. For example, I could go for, well, if I would live in Helsinki, I could go to Lapland for 2 months to work. So it's possible. You don't need to be in the office. We have seen it. There is a lesson that we got from this situation where we are right now.
Yeah. So we are already getting new ideas for the future services. And now, yeah, we've been hearing now a lot of ongoing operations. How do you feel? What's the next step now when tourism really starts to get back on its feet? What do you think, José-Carlos? What are the things companies in Lapland should now focus on? Clearly, something should be done for the recycling issues that we have figured out today. That needs probably some political decisions as well. Yeah. But how should we go forward? What is the future of tourism in Lapland?
Yeah, this is a good question, and actually we think about the future. The future is we do the future together, and so companies together and with people living here in Lapland. Recycling has been an issue that is a long discussion, and a solution has to be found for that. But there are many other issues that we need also to consider. And I think that the first thing now is we have to think about economic responsibility, because at the moment, so because of the situation, so we need to get tourists back into Lapland, and so in order to, because a lot of the workers, tourism workers, employees are not working at the moment because of the situation we are experiencing right now. We don't know about the future, what is going to be next season. So it's very, very important, so the economic point of view. But then at the same time, we have now the opportunity to think about new possibilities of doing tourism, developing new services. We have been to focus on the international market. That is actually something we take for granted. And myself also, when thinking about tourism, I think thinking a lot about international customers. But maybe now we also need to think about, for example, developing more kind of local type of tourism, also that we also have customers from, well, of course, we in Lapland have also customers from Finland, but also more at the local level. For example, could actually the people living in our town also be, for example, our customers. Is something what we could think about, and a new possibility for developing this kind of local tourism. And for example, now we were talking about this remote work. This is also another possibility, another way of, for example, bringing people over here, and instead of being 1 day, 2 days in the destination, hey, they can move here for 1 month or a couple of weeks, 2 months, work from here. Maybe they can bring the family, I don't know. So these things that we can think about, there could be a new possibility for that. And if we think about virtual tourism, I think that right now a lot of thoughts are on how we get to our customers that are not able to come over here to Lapland. But also, once the situation has improved and we get out of the restrictions and there is no COVID anymore, I think that virtual tourism also is a possibility for responsible tourism, that we don't necessarily always need to travel somewhere in order to experience something. We can do it virtually. People nowadays are traveling a lot. People travel usually for one weekend, for 2 days to one place to another, maybe 5, 6 different holidays in a year. Maybe some people can focus on one holiday, that they spend 1 week, 2 weeks somewhere, and maybe 2 or 3 holidays they could pick up virtually or virtual experience. This could be a possibility of making tourism more responsible in that way. And it's not only kind of sharing something for free, but I think that there are possibilities because technology is there. We only need to know what kind of technology we could use. And if we have the appropriate technology, tourism companies could be selling these also services. They have services on site and they have services online, and they have a revenue out of them. I think that this is a possibility for developing tourism in a more responsible way in the future. But we have to take these ideas, to share knowledge ideas, and we will get kind of interesting, responsible tourism services in the future. I think so.
That's very good. We also have one more suggestion from Kati here in the comments about work exchange. Some people might be super excited to help feeding or cleaning the poop of the dogs or reindeer in change of discounted price. Maybe it's already a thing in Lapland. We know we have in Finland every summer this sheep week organized by Metsähallitus, where people are paying for their holiday to take care of the sheep. Besides this, are there such possibilities in Lapland? Have you, Veronica, had tourists taking care of the dogs or in Salla Reindeer Park taking care of the reindeer?
No, we have. There is a little bit of a few questions. Of course, if you have people taking care of the dogs, actually it will take more time of our employees to introduce the people how to do it, so that the safety has to be first for the dogs and for the people. Well, not that they're gonna attack the people, but you need to know what you're doing. And the second part is I'm not sure with insurances how it's going to go. So Finland is a lot of rules and a lot of things to think about so that you're doing it legally. So if something happened during the feeding time, or then I don't think it's economically actually. It would be cheaper to give discount than have people cleaning their cages or like helping with the dogs, because you will need to, as I said, someone has to be next to that tourist all the time. So we will need to have extra people looking after the tourists themselves, so that everything goes safe. Yeah, I think it's a lot of question behind that, but of course, every now and again we get questions about coming here to volunteer, and that's also a tricky question in the Finnish law. How we're gonna do it, because we are not allowed to accept. If we give something for their job, if they leave or get food from us, that's a taxable income. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of, and also then it goes this work insurance. How you call it? What it would be called, tapaturma insurance during the work time. If some accident insurance during the work time. So there's a lot of things to think if you have this kind of question. It's not like straightforward. Of course, you can be just taking people and say, well, happens. But we don't we don't like to think this way. We'd like to know, if you're doing something, I would like to do it legally, and I would like to do it correct. So so far, if we had volunteers, we actually paid them a little salary. So they ask for volunteering job, but we do pay them a little salary so that we are legal in all ways, so that they can cover their living and they can cover their food. So in this way, we are not playing on age with the tax office or insurance companies or anything like that. So it's also part of being responsible company. You have to know, and all the employees and rules and employment rules in Finland are pretty strict. So these has to be kept up till the standards. You can, as you said, you pay to go take care of the sheep. So this kind of product we can offer. Yes, you can pay us a little money, and we can teach you how to take care of the dogs. Yeah. But I said it's a lot of knowledge behind it. It doesn't happen 1, 2, 3. It takes a lot of time. So if you want to do it correctly, it's actually the other way around. So someone has to pay us to teach them to take care of the dogs. But we used to run long tours, 5-day tours, and then the customers were 100% participating into dog care after the tour, or before the tour, they were feeding and harnessing the dogs and cleaning after the dogs. But that was the part of the experience that was included in the tour. So this way,
What about an online course about how to take care of the dogs? So it could be an interesting teaching experience or learning experience for the tourist.
That's true. Yeah.
So, sorry, I didn't hear the question.
An online course for learning how to take care of the huskies.
Yeah. Yes. Well, online course. That's could be one thing. You can make a series of videos, and I don't know. You can just put it online, or you can make it into buy it online for a few euros. Of course, when we are doing live videos, Valentine was doing the live videos, and he was telling a lot about how to take care of the dogs, or training, or breeding, and there's a lot of things to know. There's never enough time to talk about them, and why not? Maybe but again, everyone has their own ideas how to take care of the dogs. So we make a course online, and then we get a lot of complaints. No, this is not right. This is not correct. Why are you putting it online? So it's kind of a little bit of personal opinion also sometimes, especially with the dog drivers. They have a very strong personal opinion. So of course, every dog driver is the best, and they know the best of things. But we can share our ideas. We can't say that's the best and the only one way of doing it, because there's always things to learn. There's always things to change. So that's one idea. We can look at that.
Does Mari have anything to add about this?
Well, I was out for a while because my mobile keeps overheating.
We were talking about the possibility for a holiday as taking care of reindeer, for instance.
Well, it is insurance issue, and also it would be nice though. But summertime, it's they are having their holidays, and wintertime they are working a lot. So taking care of the reindeers, well, you feed them. That's basically what you need to do. So, and that's our customers are already doing that.
Yeah.
The reindeers they don't require anything to take care of like dogs do. We cut the nails of the reindeers 1 or twice a year. That's all. Then we give them food. Yeah, and the rest of the time they stay out and they are just enjoying their life.
Yeah, so the feeding part, it's already a part of your experience when.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Winter and summertime as well.
Yeah.
So that's mainly what we are doing with the reindeers during the summer is the feeding trips. And there are different kind of feeding trips with more information and a bit longer ones, or then just small half an hour explanation about the reindeer year and feeding the reindeers, and that's it. Or then it might be a couple of hours, 3 hours, including coffee breaks and things like that. So there are a lot of different kind of things what you can do, and you can add on to the feeding of the reindeer. And the winter time, well, customers are of course giving the reindeer treats and enjoying the time with them when we are going for the excursions in the wilderness. Then they can pet them and they can give them some kerppu to eat or more or something. It depends on how long trips they are taking.
Perfect. Thank you. We are starting to run over time a little bit, so I think we have had a great conversation. We've got some great ideas, new innovations, new things to try for the entrepreneurs. Is there still something for the closing words that any of you would like to add?
Well, I just want to say I'm really sorry.
Hopefully, we can play in our advantage this time that the Finland actually been pretty good with Corona, and that it's a very safe country to come, and there's lots of space. So I hope that people are not afraid to come so far north. Also the Finnish customers, everyone is welcome. So we have space and beautiful nature, and hopefully that will be in our advantage. And of course, everyone hopes that there is no second major disaster coming like this anymore. And we have learned some good things from the first time and know how to react. And hopefully it's not going to be ever so bad. But yeah, we hope for the best, of course.
Perfect. Mari, you were about to say something.
Yeah, I was just saying sorry that I've been missing half of the conversation, but as said, it is really, we are welcoming everybody to Lapland. We have space, we have a lot of forest and wilderness to see without any other people, and safe travels, try to get a direct flight, and clean groups, small groups, and enjoy the time, fall and winter as well. Thank you.
Thank you. And Terhi, do you still have something you want to say? Mm-hmm.
I just want to, I'm agreeing everything what Kati and Mari and Veronica has been saying. Lapland is a safe place. Also Inari, where we are, it's a safe place, and there is plenty of room for everyone. And we really can keep a social distance here easily.
Thank you. And José-Carlos, for final words.
Yeah, well, in order to wrap up about these ideas and innovations, maybe for the future, maybe as a tourist, think about the possibility about remote working in Lapland, virtual tourism offerings, maybe coming up in the next months or years, and then people living around the place. So think also about the possibility of local tourism. It's something you need to consider. And I hope that we will get more of these kind of services in the future. And then, of course, welcome to Lapland. We actually during that weeks has been very beautiful, very warm. Yesterday was 28 degrees, sunny. Well, it's really amazing summer right now. So Lapland is very beautiful in the summer. And as everybody already said, it's kind of safe in that way. You have space here, so for enjoying the place, but also take time don't come for a couple of days. Try to come for at least 1 week or a couple of weeks. Enjoy the place and enjoy the surroundings where you are coming to visit Lapland. That would be my recommendation.
Perfect. Thank you. So thank you for all of our guests, and thank you especially for our very active audience. It's been nice to read your comments and have your questions, and it's always nice to have such a active viewers. So thank you, everybody. Now it's time to wrap up. So we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.